Alright YouTube, so how are we all doing? Today's video is going to be a wing repair to do on an Audi Q5. So yeah, quite a nasty dent right in on the feature. That lines in a bit as well, and a bit out to the bumper. And yeah, that dent, repair and paint this wing, scuffing on the arch and scuffing on the bumper. We're just smart repairing the bumper. First thing I'm going to do is just get all the wheel box out and obviously get the bumper released and get this trim off, and then I may use the pulling tower on this yet, I'm not sure, or I might just hammer and dolly it from behind. I see. So I'll get it all stripped out and start repairing that dent. Alright YouTubes, I'm back. Have you missed me? I've missed you lot. It was going to take a bit longer, but yeah, I've missed doing it, to be fair. And I've got through the storm, and yeah, I'm back with another video. So yeah, the repair on this Audi Q5, it's quite a nasty little dent on that wing. The German stuff's nicer to repair, especially wings and stuff. They're not as flimsy as some of your other makes. Ta-da! So that being said, it sort of gives you a bit more scope for manipulation on, you know, on bolt-on panels like wings. You know, other makes of vehicles, you know, Toyotas and your French stuff and all that. If you get a reasonable dent in a wing, it's normally chuck it away and replace it.
Oh, you got local fans. That's going to meet and greet.
Yeah.
Tigers meet.
I don't know if it's going to work, this thing on here. Is this going to work? Should I try the pulling tower? Should I try it? Or do I put the wheel back on and drop it?
I don't know, I might be able to brace it. To be fair though, it's bolted in here, so this end.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah,
Like,
I'm
gonna...
going to try the pulling tower on it, I think. Give it a go. If not, it will take 2 seconds to put the wheel back on, won't it? Tempted to try it on the button. What's that?
The other ones you're limited if you have to brace it against something.
Yeah.
So there's a few ways you could tackle that dent, and that crown above it is, you know, it was under quite a bit of tension. So I was going to use the claw that braces against a vehicle, which, you know, that tool has got its purpose. I have found with this pulling tower, some things it hasn't got, you know, it doesn't work too well on, because it pulls, you know, the panel as well as the dent. Being, you know, like on that wing, I was a bit unsure pulling that wing, because it's actually pulling the wing where it's bolted, you know. If it was on a welded part of the car, you know, part of the body of the car, it's a bit more suited for that. So sometimes you do need that brace either side of it, but I just needed some tension on that feature line. Once, you know, I didn't pull it. It wasn't pulling that hard. It's got quite a bit of strength, that pulling tower. I've only used it a handful of times so far, but the strength is, yeah, it's pretty powerful really for something that just uses vacuum to suck itself to the floor. But you can see there's not a lot of tension on that, but it's just enough. And the beauty of it is, where it's just out of your way, you can go in there with both your hands, and, you know, I'm doing it with a hammer and dolly now, but having that little bit of tension on it, as soon as you start hitting that crown, it just releases that tension straight away, which it works really well. Like I say, it does pull, you know, a bolted panel like a wing. It does start pulling the whole panel over, and I have tried it on a couple of jobs where it pulled panel away from some bracing behind, which, so that didn't work so well. But yeah, with that little bit of tension on that wheel arch, I can start manipulating the rest of it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That tree is.
Nice pull that tree, isn't it?
It's almost cheating, isn't it?
Yeah, probably hammered that in a bit too much there. And there.
Quite satisfying seeing it for me, actually. You can see it just flattening off.
Yeah.
So it worked really well, you know. You could try to shock that out, you know, with that wiggle wire, use the attachment with a slide hammer and shock it out, and that, you know, I would attempt it with that if I never had the pulling tower, or, you know, the one with the bracing on. But the one with the bracing is, you've got to find a good place for the pads to sit, and you know, on the edge of that wing. I don't want to be pushing against a bumper, or I don't like doing it against a wheel, so that can be cumbersome. And you know, you've got to try and hold it, and, you know, that's one hand at least that you can't use for getting behind and stuff like that. And then, yeah, you know, hammer and dolly again, but just like, you know, using that claw, you can still do it with a hammer and dolly, and it just makes life a lot easier. So now I've got the wheel arch feature line where it needs to be, and the crown above it's nice and flattened down. And yeah, so just working some of the lows that are below that are on the face of the wheel arch itself. Again, another beauty with that pulling tower is when you've got it under tension, you can go in with that little spot puller and work the metal around it as well. So yeah, it's really versatile and works really well. There's loads of ways that you can tackle dents. You know, you want to try and get the metal out as much as possible. We've all got different ways. There's no right or wrong, really. You know, I think you want to put minimal amount of filler in. That's my main aim. So whether I use hammer and dolly, whether I push it with a block of wood, or, you know, use the pulling tower, use the pin puller, whatever methods work for you is fine. It's just about manipulating that metal and, you know, just keeping your filler thickness to the, you know, the minimum you can get it to. So sometimes you can't, and, you know, you have to put it in a bit deeper, but, you know, the thinner the filler is, the better, really. It's just less risk of things going wrong later on down the line.
Oh, that's all right, isn't it?
So checked it with the bumper, put the bumper guide back in, checked it, and it all married up nice. It looked nice. So yeah, on to the filler stage. So fillers, Rage Ultra. It's not a very thick filler. It's not like a bulking filler. It's ideal for these types of jobs. It rubs really easily. You can rub it with like 220 grit straight off the bat, and it shapes really well. I normally use 180 grit, so this is 180 grit on the first skim. I was hoping, and it was getting to the point where I was thinking, oh, I've got this in one skim, which is always nice. So yeah, 180 grit felt good. I thought, right, I'll refine that. I like to finish it off in 220 grit on the smaller repairs. Between 180 and 240 grit is probably ideal for primer, for 2-pack primer. So I've guide coated it again, and yeah, always, you know, if I think the repair's almost there, I'll stop with that grit, because I wanna go up to a finer grit. So I need to leave a little bit more on there, just to, if I think I'm nearly there with it, I'm gonna go to my finishing grit.
Fucking dent there, isn't there? There. Oh, I might get away with just skimming into that.
Sorry for my language there, but right at the end I felt a little bit of a dent further on. I just never skimmed it quite far enough, which was annoying. It's annoying when you've refined your filler and then you've got to put some more in.
Oh, man.
But it is what it is. So yeah, a little bit more filler had to go just at the end of that repair there.
Just 220'd it as well. Thinking I've got it.
that?
So finished the filler work, and yeah, I like to get the job prepped for paint if I can, if I've got time. Normally end of the day, innit, when you're going to be priming stuff. That's what normally happens in this trade. So yeah, it's only a wing to prep. So we're just doing it by hand, 1000 grit soft pad, and then grey Scotch wet. Get the rest of the panel prepped, and then it's just a case of knocking down the primer once that's cured off, and yeah, then ready for paint. So it's all prepped, cleaned down and dried off, and sticking a bit of pore filler into the filler really aids with the amount of work that the primer has to do. Definitely helps reduce sinkage and fills in all them little micro scratches and pinholes. So yeah, I find this a must now to put pore filler into my filler work. It really does improve the filler repairs and the overall job. So masking up for primer now. Thought I'd show you all the masking. Could chuck a sheet over the car, which in hindsight is probably quicker and easier, but I've got these rolls of sheeting. They're bought them like variety of sizes. They're in the painting and decorating industry, these rolls of masking, but they work fine. I've had no paint flaking off of them. They seem the same as what you would get your normal sheeting that you bag a car up with. So yeah, I bought a variety of different sizes and trying them out. Probably not going to rebuy all the sizes, but some of them I am. But yeah, they're from Q1, the people that make the masking tape, and they do sell some sheeting on a roll that's smaller that you can use for masking, but for some reason in their painting and decorating section they've got loads of them, loads of different sizes, ones with tape and everything. So yeah, I've been using those, and yeah, they're handy little bits of masking really for different applications. So yeah, primer that's going on this is Mipa 4+1, and it's the high build mixing ratio, and it's 3.5 coats. So I put a half coat on for the first coat. I always do that, just so sometimes, you know, when you've got paint layers beyond your repairs and that, if you put your first coat of primer on too heavy, it will just pick up all around that edge and around the edge of your filler. And yeah, if you put it on a little bit lighter on the first coat, it sort of sits on top of it all, and then it gives you a good base for your full coat. So yeah, it's 3.5 coats in total. So yeah, that's it for this video. There'll be a video for the painting stage, preparation of the painting stage of this job, but that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again soon.